Hello, so today I wanted to go through some of the new powers that I've created for the Hero or Villain Battle Royale game. And I wanted to concentrate on the water powers. Essentially, one of the concerns or one of the feedback on the forum, the Choice of Games forums, was that the water powers were one of the weakest power sets in the game. So this was one of the ones that I paid the most attention to when creating the DLC. The idea being that, well, all power sets should have options and viable ways to play. So then here what I've done is I've started the game and I've arrived to the point where you actually choose your powers. And well, I'm starting in normal mode, so I have 300 hero points left to spend as usual. Now I'm going to quickly go through some of the new powers that you can get. And the first one is swimming. Of course, it's a water-based power, although some of the other power sets, for example, like the animal power set, will have access to it. So if I click on this, essentially tells me that I have the ability to swim at amazing speeds, and this will give you some extra options in some parts of the game now. There are some antagonists that are water-based, both in Battle Royale and Hero and Villain, so you'll be able to have extra options when fighting them, and there will be some other options for some side missions on how to get to places by swimming. This one, superhuman agility, was already there. So I'll go back to the main menu. Now, the next one, I think, is defensive powers. Maybe here there is nothing new here. There was already this one before, which actually the ability to breathe underwater. Anyway, I'll click on that, so my hero now has the ability to breathe underwater. All the other ones, I think, were already here. Immune to ultrasound attacks and acid attacks. I think these were not on the original games, but they were incorporated into other updates that I made through the past years. When it comes to offensive powers, here's where there's a few new ones, and the first one is you can drain enemies of the water inside their bodies, healing your own body. So in a sense, it's sort of like vampire touch. And okay, to use this power, you would have to be able to touch your enemies. So if I go, for example, if I click on this, it says if you manage to touch them, so you do have to manage to touch them. If you don't have enough fighting or they're too agile, you might not touch them at all. And they also have to have lost some energy, otherwise there is nothing that you can absorb. So it is quite an interesting power in a sense. It's more of a regeneration power. There's also the same power, but instead of being related to touch, it's a ray. And this means that you don't actually have to touch them, hence that means it's a lot more expensive to implement. The other ones is, I won't click on this because otherwise might not have enough points, but this one is a sort of berserk. I can make my blood boil, which gets me into a rage in combat, so it's a sort of berserk round. It doubles your strength, but it also makes it easier for your enemies to hit you. There is also a couple of super powerful attacks. Ice Cannon, which can do a lot of damage, but it would be slower. And maybe if you rewind a bit, you'll see that there was also a storm type of attack, which also does a lot of damage, but would be quite slow to activate. So these new Ice Cannon and Rage type attacks, they cannot be used normally in the first round of combat. You'll have to wait for the second or third round of combat. You need some concentration, etc., to activate them. And the other main addition is to miscellaneous powers is you can hear the whispers of waters, and this can warn you of danger. Essentially, this is a kind of like a sixth sense power that can maybe sometimes give you some information about things that happen around you, but they are related to water. Some of the other power sets will have slightly different variations of this ability. So some will be related more to being able to capture things from people or from the environment, etc. So anyway, this is what I wanted to explain today. Hope you enjoyed this. I might consider, if you like this video, maybe I'll consider doing some other videos for some of the other additions to the other power sets. So let me know which one you would like me to do. The other thing I'd like to say, yeah, I'm currently also making a board game based on throwing meeples, which is called Fantasy Tavern Brawl. So you can find this on Kickstarter, and the link, well, you can see here the link. So if you want to be notified when it's launched, then please follow it on the Kickstarter page. So that is all. Thank you so much for listening.